Hello from the Indianapolis Convention Center, home of the 2019 NFL Scouting Combine. I'm Phil Milani alongside Steve Atwater and Matt Boyer. Andrew Mason will be along shortly. So let's start with you, Steve. We heard from Kyler Murray. He said that John Elway's a legend, but he has no plans to meet with the Broncos.
Yeah, that's not totally surprising, especially considering what John Elway said just a couple of days ago, just about how they're looking for a quarterback who can play from underneath center, and shorter quarterbacks play a little bit better from shotgun. And I think Kyler played a majority of his snaps, if not all of them, from the shotgun position there at Oklahoma. So it's not surprising at all. I think that doesn't stop him from being drafted high from another team, though.
Yeah, because he did say that he has plans to meet with the Arizona Cardinals.
They got number one pick.
Yeah, that's very interesting because they drafted Josh Rosen last year. I mean, what do you think about that, Steve?
Well, they've been hitting around to that, and it's certainly possible. I would be extremely shocked if the Arizona Cardinals do decide to draft Kyler Murray with that number one pick, having just drafted Josh Rosen in the 2018 draft. But you never know what can happen. I suspect that they're trying to increase the value of that number one position by threatening to do that. So another team who may want them will be willing to give up a little bit more.
Kyler Murray not doing any workouts here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and I'm not crazy about that part because he hasn't played a ton of football that people could take a look at him and kind of compare him side by side with just say Drew Lock. Well, his numbers are really off the charts in compared to Drew Lock, but he and Dwayne Haskins similar stats. But teams want to see what he can do, compare side to side on the field with them, and he's not giving them that.
Yeah, that's interesting that you get to back to see what the players look like compared right next to each other. We won't be able to do that with Kyler Murray, although we expect him to do that at his pro day. Steve, thank you very much. Matt, we also heard from some of the other quarterbacks there today. I know that you were out there listening to them. What do you think about some of the other guys, Drew Lock, Dwayne Haskins, those kind of guys?
It's funny because there was it was Broncos-centric for a lot of it because we heard from Daniel Jones. He talked a lot about his relationship with the Manning family, he going to the Manning Passing Academy, and also, of course, working with Dave Cutcliffe and being with Eli and Peyton on that Duke campus, and just what he was able to gain from them and how much he valued that relationship. The other thing that I thought was interesting, though, too, was Drew Lock mentioned John Elway coming to his game in Missouri, saying he felt so much respect from John, and the fact that, he took time out to actually take that trip. It really showed him a lot about John. A lot of respect for John Elway. Even Kyler Murray is saying, he's obviously a legend, but I haven't talked with him.
Exactly. It was interesting to hear from Drew Lock because they asked him, okay, what NFL player would you most compare yourself to? He said, I don't want to be cocky or anything like that, but maybe Aaron Rodgers.
Is that good? Is that a good? That's not bad. Yeah, I think we definitely saw some swagger from Drew Lock today, and John's mentioned that before. You need to have that swagger, that confidence to play the position in the NFL. The other thing that I thought was interesting, Will Grier also having a lot of swagger. Gardner Minshew. There's a lot of confidence from this group we saw today on the podium.
That seems like the new normal now in the NFL. Right. Starting with Baker Mayfield last year coming in here. You remember the hoopla around him.
Right.
Kyler Murray, a huge presence walking in here today, so definitely a very exciting time in this room where it's just podium sound for us here in Indianapolis. Let's bring in Andrew Mason here. Mace, let's talk about the drills out on the field. Whose workouts stood out to you today?
First of all, I feel like we went from Tyree Jackson to Kyler Murray here in terms of height with me replacing.
5'10" isn't a bad height, Mace. 5'10's not bad. I'm not hating it.
I'm kind of 6'5",
Yeah, so Tyree's bigger than everybody. So look at the running back position. It's not really a good group of running backs, and with Josh Jacobs of Alabama not working out, he's probably the only real potential first-rounder here. It seated the spotlight at some others, and you had Justice Hill from Oklahoma State, 4'4", 40. You kind of expected that, though, 198 pounds, but he had the best 40 time. But what's interesting, guys, this is just the second time in the last 13 years of the Combine that you haven't had one running back that was below 4.4 in the 40 time. So not really a great performance overall. Now, offensive line, Garrett Bradbury, the star of the day. If you're looking for the gold medal winner in the underwear Olympics, O-line version, it's Garrett Bradbury, because you go through, he was third in the 40-yard dash, 4.92, second in bench press yesterday, 34 reps, first in the three-cone drill, very athletic. looked like a second rounder coming in, had a good Senior Bowl week, but now you start putting these numbers on top of his Senior Bowl work, on top of his film at North Carolina State. Could be a guy who goes in that last 8 to 10 picks of the first round. That could break some ties, move him up a little bit. And then on the bench press, wide receivers today, they'll be running tomorrow at Lucas Oil Stadium. The two studs were DK Metcalf, Mississippi, and Keel Harry of Arizona State, both with a pretty impressive total, 27 reps.
Pretty good for a wide receiver.
But also, they're big wide receivers, each from 228 pounds. Stands to reason they'd be really good at that, guys.
So you think maybe somebody earned a chance to bump up maybe into second round, first round, that kind of thing out there today?
Certainly. I think Garrett Bradbury is the guy that probably earned the most, or got the most bump today on the field, and I think certainly DK Metcalf, if he has a good workout tomorrow, in addition to the bench press, shows speed to go with the strength. He looks like he could be the first receiver off the board. He could even be a top 10 receiver with a good day on Saturday.
Broncos maybe looking into mid-round, maybe for a wide receiver or something like that. What are you looking forward to seeing there tomorrow? A quarterback's going to be throwing.
Yeah, this is the thing about the quarterbacks this week. The competition, going back to back to back. Everybody's in the same room. Everybody's got a controlled environment. Everybody's going through the same thing. I think it's going to help a lot of the talent evaluators out. I wish Kyler Murray was throwing. We just heard it from Steve, but yeah, I think the thing that I'm most looking forward to is just seeing these guys back to back to back. Maybe Daniel Jones versus some of these mid-tier guys like a Will Grier, a Minshew. I think that's where I'm most excited to see those mid-round guys.
What do you want to see tomorrow, Mace?
I think right there with him. I mean, the mid-round guys, you know who the top ones are. But, can Ryan Finley have a good day and kind of solidify himself as a second rounder? Jarrett Stidham is one I keep my eye on out of Auburn. And he actually said his press gathering that he's talked with the Broncos. And a good Senior Bowl week, good back in 2017, inconsistent last year. He's a guy who could move up.
Yeah, interesting. He's a prototypical kind of quarterback, so maybe a good spot for the Broncos in the middle of the draft here. We also heard from tight ends today. Make sure you check out DenverBroncos.com. We have a story on T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant, maybe a couple of tight ends that really the Broncos could use to
Broncos
address
country
the
extends to Iowa, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
they would be very happy.
Casey
with Fant.
Kreider has got a huge following.
Josie
out there.
Jewell
Yeah,
as well.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But don't forget, Rich Scangarello knows all about what an Iowa tight end can do with George Kittle with the 49ers last year and the Broncos. They know that well for the wrong reason.
I know in our Combine preview you said maybe, hey, don't forget about T.J. Hawkinson. He could be a pick there early in the first round.
I think he'll be the first tight end off the board. Could go as high as the 7th pick to Jacksonville, maybe.
Could be the next Gronkowski, maybe, huh?
Well.
Hey, Jay, come on. No,
let's
just
a little
ease up on that one.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so make sure you check out DenverBroncos.com for that story. And then we'll also have a whole recap of the Combine coming up on Monday, plus another special recap on Orange and Blue Daily. So make sure to check that out on Monday. We'll have a complete recap of everything that took place here over the weekend, and then also some Broncos news to throw in there as well. All right, that's going to do it. For Steve Atwater, Andrew Mason, Matt Boyer, I'm Phil Milani. So long from Indianapolis.